Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Wayne Lou. You're listening to the Raptors Reaction Podcast after the Raptors win 134 to 117 over the Atlanta Hawks. Raptors will play the Hawks once again on Monday, so this is the first of two games. Raptors have now claimed their third win of the season against Atlanta, and they're going for the sweep on Monday. First off, happy 2026 to everyone involved. This is well, actually, no, I guess we did a show yesterday. So, but still, from the React Pod side at least, Happy New Year to everyone involved. I see you guys all getting in the chat. Intern Krem once again popping in and taking all your questions as usual. But yeah, I mean, it was a very fun watch. I gotta say, when the two teams don't really play defense at the level in which they can stop each other. Let's just say that much. It was fun. It was fun seeing the Raptors score at will. It was fun seeing the Atlanta Hawks score back on the Raptors. Raptors, you could score against this Atlanta team. Like the reason the Atlanta Hawks are roughly 500 is because their offense is great, but they're defensively they're just not there. And a lot of nights you see this type of score. I mean, this isn't even the most points remotely that the Hawks have given up this season. Not even just to the Raptors. I mean, Raptors have already put, I think, 138 on the Hawks earlier this season on the season opener, right? So, it's fun watching an up and down game, and the Raptors certainly were up for this one. A lot of energy in the building too. I thought it was a really good crowd. In particular, I don't know exactly why, but it was just a nice crowd. And there's plenty of motivation. You saw Jalen Johnson. Obviously, he's emerging as another guy from that very, very talented 2021 class. He probably will make an all-star game, especially considering he's walking. I mean, he's doing like 80% Jokic numbers, at least in the box score. Not nearly 80% of the player Jokic is, but at least numbers-wise has been very impressive. Nikhil has had a huge year, arguably most improved, just based on what he has been in this league and then sort of what he is this season. A huge scoring jump for him. Obviously, with Trae Young in and out, and it looks like Trae is going to be out of the team entirely soon. There's been a huge void there at point guard, and Nikhil has stepped up. I mean, he's been, kind of like a 3-and-D guy, but man, he's like a primary scorer for them now, and certainly him at coming home, having, Avon Alexander, who's Shea's dad, and Nikhil's uncle. I mean, basically that's one big family. Like they're basically brothers, and Nikhil's mom sitting courtside. Like there's a lot of good energy, and of course from the Raptors side, I mean, things are good. RJ is back and his minutes restriction is getting bumped up a little bit more. It's not a back-to-back, so he didn't have to sit out. Outside of Jakob, Raptors were actually pretty healthy, and we're getting back, closer to the start of the season when the Raptors had their, fresh starters and they were able to play and really rip off a great stretch of games there. You also saw, obviously, the last couple games, Scottie's talked about, like, yeah, man, I'm not trying to play center like that. You know what I mean? Like, he might be good at center at times, but he's not trying to do, be full-time center. And so you see the change up in looks where we've seen in previous games, right? Like even the Denver game, the Raptors lost that one because they couldn't get any offense. I mean, today they got all that offense and more. But in the Denver game, they started Ochai Agbaji in the first half, and even in the second half, they switched him out for CMB to go for a more traditional look in the starting five. And you saw a similar iteration here today with CMB starting and Ochai basically bumped from, starter to like the 10th man. And honestly, he shouldn't even come into this game. Ochai has not been good. There's no need for the minutes that he played. But regardless, like Raptors, came out, and I was pretty confident in the way the Raptors match up against Atlanta. To be honest, I thought Atlanta actually hit a lot of tough shots, and credit to them. They also got a lot of whistles in their favor. I felt like, especially in the first half, Toronto didn't really help things themselves because they kept missing point blank layups. But it was a good sign. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, if you're constantly missing layups, it's frustrating. It's maybe even a mildly embarrassing, but it's a sign that you're getting good shots. And the Raptors were, consistently getting to the rim, but just missing. Scottie missing at the rim, RJ missing twice at the rim, CMB missing at the rim. Like it was just, everybody was missing. Meanwhile, the one guy who was not missing all night from anywhere on the floor was Brandon Ingram. I mean, Brandon Ingram tonight just had probably his most efficient game of the entire season. He goes for 29 points on 11 of 15 shooting. And, there's certain times where you got to, like, I wouldn't recommend you to watch who's like an efficient player, but it's like kind of ugly. Like I mean, yeah, even Nikhil or even Jalen Johnson. Like, I wouldn't be like, hey, you got to watch the tape of this. You know what I mean? Because it's like a lot of these guys are like making the right reads, making the right transition plays, making a good cut here or there. Like, it's not like a flashy highlight reel. I would even argue RJ doesn't have a flashy highlight reel. When Brandon scores 29, it's beautiful. Like, it's all turnaround jumpers. It's him saying Kobe and Kobe and Kobe over and over again as he is hitting shots over his former teammate in Dyson Daniels from the Pelicans days. I think him and Nikhil might have crossed over a little bit too, if I'm not mistaken. So just two former teammates that he's well familiar with. And in terms of, in practices and getting to know sort of, for Brandon, it's all about, can I get to my spot and can I shoot over the guy? And is there a double team coming? And Atlanta, for some reason, they were like, yeah, we'll play, we'll play Brandon, straight up one-on-one. I mean, we'll give him respect. We'll put him our best defenders on him. So that's Dyson Daniels and that's Nikhil. But we're going to play him one-on-one. Hey, next game, they're not going to be playing a one-on-one because Brandon Ingram got to his spots, turnaround jumpers. Like, it's such a sexy 29 points in terms of just the craft of scoring the basketball. These are not 29 catch-and-shoot threes, open in the corner and him cutting to the brim for layups, although he had a couple of those too, and he did hit a catch-and-shoot three here and there. But it was like, it was beautiful watching Brandon's performance. And at the start of the game, that was the only thing that was going for Toronto. Like, Darko had to call the first timeout. I mean, the starters have consistently been struggling to start the game, and the Raptors, didn't help themselves by being down 11-5. Like I said, they missed a bunch of layups, which is uncharacteristic, and obviously over the rest of the game, that corrected itself, and the Raptors were able to score 134 points. So clearly, offense wasn't the issue, but at least at the start of it, we're talking about the first 5 minutes of the game, when Atlanta got out to an 11-5 lead, it was entirely Brandon who was scoring. Now, granted, the rest of the team started joining the fray. And that's where I thought the Raptors got into a great rhythm, especially in transition. They were able to sort of hit against the Hawks. Of course, the Hawks were hitting the Raptors right back in transition. So it created this like very, very frenetic back and forth game where it just looked exhausting for everyone playing involved. But I also thought I thought Scottie, even though he had a really sluggish first shift of the game, he's usually the first sub that comes out, and then he comes back in with, usually like a mostly bench unit. And I thought Scottie made a huge, effort in terms of just like pumping life into the Raptors. Him just like the surprise double teams, Atlanta, again, without Trae Young, they've had to use some unconventional point guards, or even just like the simple task of bringing it past half court. Whether that was Nikhil, which, Nikhil's actually a pretty good ball handler. So, the Raptors weren't able to force too many turnovers out of Nikhil. But especially when they were trying to bring the ball past half with like Vit Krejci, who a lot of people don't know, but he's basically just like what everyone wants Trady Dick to be, which is just no conscience 3-point gunner. This guy's like, what is Vit Krejci? I believe he's Czech. He might be, yeah. I might look that up actually. Maybe Slovakian. But yeah, he's like that version, that country's version of Kyle Korver, basically. And he's just coming in and pumping threes. By the way, Kyle Korver was in the building as a member of the front office for the Atlanta Hawks. Was just actually pretty fun to just walk around and be like, oh shit, I just bumped into Kyle Korver. That's pretty cool. But yeah, like watching like the Hawks try to like compensate with different types of guards, bringing it up. The Raptors were really smart and opportunistic, and that's kind of what stopped Atlanta's, early in momentum was Scottie, blitzing at half court, and the Raptors, do this quite often. They trap the ball handlers, and you can only do it selectively, but similar to how they closed that Warriors game in the fourth quarter with a whole bunch of blitzes, that's kind of what they did, except in the first quarter here against Atlanta, and I liked it. It really set the tone. And it kind of flipped the momentum. Again, Scottie was huge in that stretch, got Brandon a transition dunk, got himself a dunk after Mamu made an extra pass. And so a couple of those turnovers, because honestly, as long as the Hawks were able to shoot the ball, they were able to score the ball. And that was the thing that was really impressive watching the way they played. Just the constant downhill pressure from obviously Jalen Johnson, who is like a big 6'9", do-it-all type of wing, but very athletic going to the basket. But then behind him, Nikhil, and then behind him, Dyson Daniels. Just those three guys sort of cycling, and especially when they were involved together in these pitch plays where one would drive and then pitch it right behind to somebody who already, with the head of steam, making that little stampede cut and just constantly like getting to the basket, and the Raptors were having a foul or they were having to rotate late. Like, it was impressive watching it. However, the one way the Raptors were able to always score on Atlanta was getting turnovers And because the Hawks were driving the ball so much, they left the ball exposed a lot. And over the course of the game, the Raptors got better and better and better at how they were going to attack the exposed dribble on those drives. They were able to get turnovers, and then the Raptors were able to run. And that was great to see, man. RJ Barrett, obviously, had his best game of the season in terms of scoring. He had a season high 29 here today. RJ has been a little sluggish since coming back from the injury, as you can expect. He was out for a month. And even at the start of this game, he missed a couple of layups, and you're like, oh, man, come on, RJ, like, pick it up. But, man, did he pick it up, man? RJ, at the start of the second quarter, goes one-on-one against Dyson Daniels. Again, I always think that, like, it's not great to always attack the best defender on that side. However, I say that in terms of efficiency, it's not great to always attack the best defender. However, there's, like, a psychic effect for the rest of your team of, like, oh, that's their best defender? Watch me score on him. Watch RJ Barrett go one-on-one against Dyson Daniels, take a 5-6 dribbles, literally sit him down on his ass, and then turn around for the little short push shot that RJ's so good at. It's like, if you can kill their best defender, then all of a sudden it gives confidence to the rest of the team. Like, okay, all right, we can all, if that's their best defender, we can all do that. You know what I mean? And I felt like RJ really broke that door open for the team. He had a cut over the top from nice pass from Scottie Barnes as well. The other day at practice, Scottie was asked about sort of getting triple doubles, recently, and he had 2 in the last 3 games before this one. And one thing Scottie said was just like, yeah, man, with RJ back, it's kind of like I can just farm free assists. And that's kind of what it felt like tonight. I mean, Scottie has assisted RJ at least 3 times, if not 4. But just like nice, easy plays where, again, like RJ makes scoring look possible, makes it look easy. Sometimes, especially his backups, Grady Dick, Jacoby Walter, Ochai Agbaji, they make scoring look very difficult. They make it look like it's a monumental task. Make corner threes look like they're questionable. They make cuts to the basket look like they need to sort of make a acrobatic move and get a little lucky on the shot. RJ's just like, open 3, shoot it, live with the results. Today he made a bunch of them. Drive to the basket. Obviously I got some strength, get to my spot, shoot it. I have a game plan in mind of how I want to cut, how I want to score in transition. I know where I want to go. I'm not even 100% yet. You could tell RJ couldn't even get up and dunk the alley-oop, for example, which he typically would. Doesn't matter. He makes it look really easy. And tonight, 29 points efficiently, especially after a bit of a slow start too. And I think that really got the Raptors off to a nice push. But, I mean, the Raptors got a lot of good contributions across the board. I thought Mamu, after having probably his most quiet game of the season in the loss to Denver, I mean, it didn't really make sense how quiet he was. Mamu's been so consistent. And honestly, we step back for a second, like, the Raptors pay Mamu $2.5 million a year. That's less than, like, what they pay Ochai or what they pay Grady or, what they pay Jacoby. So it's like, oh, so if he's a little inconsistent, I can understand just based on even the salary number. But Mamu has been so good and so consistent all year that when he finally had one off night against the Denver Nuggets, the Raptors suddenly lost that one. They couldn't get any bench production. Remember, literally, the Raptors went 0 of 18 from the bench from 3, which was just absurd. But Mamu had a really quiet one. Well, Mamu comes back in this one and just bounces back in a huge way, is a plus 27, goes for 13 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 blocks. Thanks to Intern Cram for putting this graphic up here too. Mamu was sensational in this one. And I mean, obviously you would like to see a little bit more balance. I mean, the other night he was so quiet that they didn't even consider him basically for the entire second half. But Mamu has this gear in him. And I think especially in an open game like this, right, where there isn't a real shot blocker on the other side. The Raptors obviously don't have a real shot blocker with him in the middle either with Mamu. But when Mamu's able to rip the rebound down and he's able to push in transition, that really helped sort of, turn the Raptors' advantage, or I guess Atlanta's advantage against them. Atlanta's whole thing is they want to play in transition, want to be fast, multiple ball handlers. Well, yeah, okay. How about the opposing team in Toronto's in this case? Mamu was like, I'll rip down the rebound, and as a 5, I'll rebound, I'll push, I'll break, I'll make the extra pass, I'll finish in transition too, I'll pop out for 3. Like, obviously Mamu's really another forward masquerading at center, but it gives you some tangible advantages when you're able to play small ball. Atlanta doesn't have the type of size that, demoralizes you, that true size. The centers who are able to get every offensive rebound and put guys in foul trouble. They have guys driving to the basket, and certainly they were able to do a good job of scoring through contact. But this game really suited Mamu, and Mamu's really in the mood too, man. I mean, it was a really fun performance to see from Mamu in that sense. But honestly, like they got a lot of good ones. You know, I thought Grady Dick quietly gave them a nice shift off the bench. Jamal obviously knocked down 2 threes when he first came in, and that really helped again, just like give you a bit of confidence. Because you know when you turn to the bench or the Raptors bench, like okay, Mamu for most part, like I know Mamu's gonna be good, but like who else is gonna do something for me? And Jacoby wasn't quite doing that today. And so Jamal coming in and just knocking out a couple threes, I'm just like, oh, thank God. You know, it's a relief for the whole group, really, because he's the leader for that whole second unit. So seeing Jamal come in and knock down 2 threes was just like, it's just 2 threes, but the other game, if the Raptors bench hit 2 threes, Raptors win that game against Denver, right? Because they won 0 of 18 as a group from the bench. But, you know, it also helps too when, like, look, sometimes bench units struggle, but they need some of the starters with those bench units to be carrying most of that load. And again, Brandon was on a mission. Like, it just bucket after bucket after bucket, taking on the best defenders, scoring over them. It felt like he was almost proving a point because, you know, if you think back to it, the 2 teams in contention for Brandon's services, going back to last season, were the Atlanta Hawks and the Toronto Raptors. And obviously the Raptors were the team that Brandon chose to go to. I'm sure his agent, Rich Paul, who was a very big fan of Toronto, probably had a big say in like, hey, Toronto's a good place. You should probably go there. But I also think the other part of it is just like, okay, you know, I wasn't traded for that much. Atlanta could have gotten Brandon Ingram. They had more to give on that trade package if they had wanted to get Brandon than what Toronto ultimately gave up. And watching Brandon cook them like this, I was like, you know, that felt like a little bit of like a FU. Like, you know what I mean? Not that like Atlanta wasn't interested, but, you know, I made the right choice. And let me show you why. And he just, again, like unstoppable scoring. Like this is like a Kevin Durant type of scoring game from Brandon Ingram. I'm serious. Go watch the highlights. It was that gorgeous. But, you know, like Brandon carrying a little of that bench scoring, Scottie carrying it a little bit, Mamu sort of perpetuating some of the momentum for that whole group. RJ obviously scoring. Then even IQ, like I know IQ only shot 5 of 13, but I thought he had a nice name as well. Like drew a foul here or there, bailed out the Raptors on some late shot clock scenarios, got a couple of steals, you know, ate that offensive foul. And realistically, like after a blistering game where the Raptors and Hawks just traded punch after punch for 2 quarters. Atlanta scored 77 points between the second and third quarters. In that same time, the Raptors scored 72. So in the course of just one like half worth of games in the second and third quarters, there was like over 150 points scored. It's kind of like an absurd number to even just look at. But like, well, I guess that's 149. But like, still, that's a lot of points for 2 quarters. But it was kind of like, okay, when it was a 1-point game going to the fourth quarter, who's going to play defense first? And the Raptors, they locked in. And this is the thing, I'll give the Raptors a lot of credit because last couple of games, the consistent pattern has been, okay, the other team has a little bit of something going on. They may be even up at a certain point, but the Raptors, fourth quarter, they have another gear they can hit on defense. And we saw it obviously in that win over the Golden State Warriors. We saw it in the win over the Denver or the Orlando Magic. They really did do a good job defensively against Denver as well. They just couldn't hit any threes. And so they lost that one, but they certainly played well enough defensively to win that one when you hold a team to 106. And then this one, even in a game where they were just getting lit up, like they were getting lit up. I mean, they started the fourth quarter having already given up 106 to the Atlanta Hawks, and they're only up 1. They turned it from being up 107, 106 to being up 123 to 109. That part includes a 16-0 run where the Raptors were able to get multiple stops, stripping the ball, taking offensive fouls, contests at the rim, not allowing any offensive rebounds, and then just running and breaking and running and breaking. And that's what really got the Raptors, ahead and firmly basically in control of this game. It was anybody's game up to that point. I'm sure for Atlanta, they felt a sense of confidence knowing that, they were only down 1 heading into the fourth quarter on the road. That's a great scenario, especially because they were on the second half of back-to-back. They probably felt like they could do this. And then the Raptors just pulled away. They hit another gear. Again, Scottie was huge in that stretch, feeding RJ, just basically a small drive to from the 3 to basically the free throw line, and just a little dump off pass behind him to RJ, and he already knocks down the 3. It's that's what Scottie means by it's easy assist. Scottie didn't have to break down the defense, draw a double team, make the right read, kick out against 2 guys. He's just I'm gonna drive 2 meters, kick it behind me, and it's a 3. It's easy work, and RJ makes scoring look easy. RJ scoring in transition as well. Grady, this is why I say Grady had a nice stretch. Grady hit a corner three in the first, I believe, to end the first quarter. That was really nice to see from Grady. Then he had a little bit of, whatever, like kind of disappear for a while there too. Then in the fourth quarter, he comes in and he was part of that stretch where the Raptors had a 16-0 run, and he made a number of hustle plays there. He swiped down on a spin move. Basically, the Hawks, they love driving and then using the spin move in particular to create the extra separation to like get to the basket and sort of beat the defense. And that probably works really well on the man that they're getting guarded by. But when you hit the spin move, one of the things you're very vulnerable to is the strip from a help defender, because you're spinning, you're a little bit out of control. Obviously, you're sacrificing a little bit of your balance to make a very athletic move. But in that process, if again, the other team, the defensive team knows that you're going to go to that move, they're going to be able to come over from the weak side and strip, or even block your shot, but largely even just strip because the ball's exposed a little bit too. And the Raptors did a really great job during the stretch of like really reading those like spin moves and being able to get hands in there and strip and disrupt. And once those steals got out there, the Raptors were just running on every single one of those. Grady also forced a shot clock violation. I mean, granted, it was only like 4 or 5 seconds as they gave the ball to Onyeka Okongwu. Obviously, that's a mismatch. That's their center versus Grady. But Grady did a good job standing in there, standing firm. Quiet thing with Onyeka is that like he's a center, but he's only like 6'9". So Grady at 6'6", 6'7", like he's able to like stand in there and like actually, do a decent job. And he's able to get a hand up on the ball, basically block him as he was going up as the shot clock expired. That counted as a shot clock violation, but that should really be a block for Grady in that stretch there. So a steal, a block. Unfortunately, he overcooked a fast break where he had like all the momentum in the world and he tried to throw a lob to RJ and he made it look like super far. But regardless, like I thought Grady actually, for what he did in that stretch was he certainly didn't cut off any of the momentum by the Raptors. And it's another bit of like good plus minus for Grady, who has surprisingly had a good plus minus on the season despite his overall personal struggles. And then you sprinkle in a little bit more RJ, threes from the top. You sprinkle in a little bit of even Grady getting out in transition and dunking the ball, Scottie powering his way to the basket, even IQ getting opportunistic looks here or there, hitting a three. Like it was just a little bit too much for the Hawks to overcome. And honestly, like, who knows? When the Raptors play the Hawks again in 2 days, first off, they'll be definitely well rested. I mean, compared to what it was today, the Hawks played a nice game against the Knicks last night, and they were able to beat the Knicks. Then they had to travel in this second half of back-to-back. So I can only imagine that the Atlanta Hawks, fresh off of obviously getting beat by the Raptors for the third time this season now, this is going to be the fourth and final time they see the Raptors. They're going to make some adjustments in between, I'm sure. But I also think that they'll have more rest so that maybe they don't have to fall apart in the fourth quarter like they did here today. But I don't want to say that it was just like, oh, the Hawks got tired and the Raptors, like, were able to run away. Usually when you get tired, you start missing shots and, you're not rotating on defense. First off, you can't tell if the Hawks aren't rotating on defense because they didn't really play much defense all game. So I'm not going to give them that. And then it wasn't like the Hawks were missing shots. Again, even the third quarter, the Hawks hit 8 threes. Like, it was like very, very frustrating for the Raptors because they had a 40-point quarter, but they somehow lost a bit of the lead because Atlanta couldn't miss. So it was really that the Raptors, I think, stepped up defensively, were able to kind of, cause more disruptions and get deflections and steals. And, that more than anything else was able to, like, just literally disrupt. Because, again, the Hawks were shooting well from across the board anyway. So it's hard to prevent them from scoring once they actually shoot the ball. But the Raptors were able to get some turnovers on them. And that was kind of the game. So, you had some strong performances. Again, Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett both going for 29, Scottie going for 20, Mamu almost having a triple-double off the bench. And then at the end of it, the Raptors were able to have a little bit of garbage time. You saw a little bit of Mo Bamba, which didn't go well for Mo considering he smoked a point-blank layup. But, I'm not going to judge a man off a minute and 33 seconds. I'm happy that they got some garbage time in at the end, though, because, these two teams are going to play each other again, and I'll be curious to see what they do in the games in between. I know one point made by Jack on the broadcast. Also, a huge happy birthday to Jack Armstrong and also Kayla Gray over at TSN. I don't know if you heard, but this was a birthday. I mean, you didn't hear it all broadcast, but no, it was great. I love the personality. You know that. I love them as people as well. And one nice point made by Jack on the broadcast was, Atlanta did eventually go to a zone look towards I think the end of the third quarter, maybe start of the fourth quarter. And, they kind of waited until that point. Recently, the Raptors have been facing a ton of zone. And, I think that was the number one reason why the Raptors lost to Denver was the Nuggets basically decided we're going to zone you for basically the entire second half. And we're going to see if you guys can hit threes. And the Raptors couldn't hit threes, and they won. That was kind of it. So I am curious to see if the Hawks play more zone. But again, I think the big thing for the Hawks is just like if they can actually put any pressure on the ball or protect the basket, because they just don't excel on either of those two fronts. Like you saw how easily it was for RJ to drive to the basket, Scottie to drive to the basket, Brandon to drive to the basket. Although Brandon was doing everything, bro. Brandon was hitting the most ridiculous shots. And then once he's hitting so many, as soon as he pump fakes, guys are jumping out of their seats, and then he's able to drive past. So it's like he literally had them at his mercy, which is what he said about the game winner against Pascal Siakam. But I do think Atlanta will come out with a couple of adjustments. You might you see different personnel as well. Obviously, they didn't have Kristaps, they didn't have Trae Young here tonight, but still, Raptors will play the Hawks well all season, and tonight was another example. So we're gonna take a quick break. Appreciate you guys. Leave your questions in the chat. It's probably your best chance to get them answered is you leave them right now as I show you a message from our beloved sponsor, and then when we come back, we'll answer those questions, man.
This segment is presented by Table Fare and Social. Get your pregame bites and after-work drinks at Table. It's at a great location right across the street from Scotiabank Arena and just steps away from Union Station and the Metrolinx bus terminal. Will, what are we having at Table Fare and Social?
Well, they got one of our favorites in the city, Alouette.
Ooh.
And of course, Alouette. Incredible food.
The wedge salad?
The wedge salad, exactly. Imagine you're about to watch a Raptors game, you're about to watch a Leafs game, you're about to catch a concert at Scotiabank, and beforehand, we get together, get a couple of drinks at Alouette, get that salad. We're ready for anything, man.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of options at Table Fare and Social. This is your go-to spot. Next time you're off to a game, check out Table Fare and Social, a downtown food hall right across from the arena for some great pregame bites and drinks.
Okay, we're going to take your questions in the chat, but first, we're going to let you guys know that Sandro Mamukelashvili gets the chain. Yeah. Shouts to Krem for grabbing the photos here. Yeah, man, Mamu, well-deserved with the chain. You could have gone with a number of different directions here. Obviously, Brandon had a great game. RJ had a great game. But Mamu, this might have been his best game of the season. And, of course, it comes off of the heels of a really, really quiet one against Denver. So, great to see him with the chain. Mamu is, great vibes. Mamu's very sweet, I would say, of a person, it feels like. I know Mamu, I was looking at his Instagram yesterday. Mamu was climbing the skywalk yesterday on the CN Tower. Actually, Karim, go to Mamu's account and look at his stories, okay? He legit went for the skywalk up on the CN Tower yesterday, which is kind of an absurd thing to do just in general, to just stand outside when you're 300 meters up in the air or whatever, but it's even wilder when it's minus 20 or minus 10 outside. I can only imagine how much colder it is up there with the winds and everything. I don't know. Mamu's a brave man, but Mamu's a man with good vibes. And today he nearly had a triple-double. This man almost, he really almost got his first career triple-double. I thought he might have been left in the game just to hunt it, but I mean, credit to Darko, knowing what's important. You know what? You're not getting the triple-double. You got the double-double, and then you're going to get the chain. How about that for a triple-double? So, yeah, man, this was a nice little win by the group. Of course, you got the obligatory team flex photo. Wow, you really have a lot of guys flexing. Yo, Grady's influence is crazy. Grady got everybody flexing on this one, basically. But usually it's Grady flexing, and then it's Jamison Battle flexing. But RJ Barrett has decided to join the flex. Jonathan Mobo is flexing in the middle there. Elijah Martin straight up has his shirt off, even though he didn't even play today, basically. He has his shirt off, and he's flexing. Clearly one of the most D's players on the team. And then, yeah, this is the squad, man. AJ's got in the back, you know what I mean? They got AJ posted up in Brampton in this photo. This guy's, you got to go all the way back to find him. Mo Bamba's in the back there. Yak, obviously, in team gear. What else would you expect? Jakob was always in team gear. And, yeah, nice vibes, man. Again, I love that Grady's influence. I think I don't know who suggested this, but the day where Grady Dick has a great game and he wears the chain after the win, I want the entire team like doing the Grady Dick flex. Okay, like I think that would be a great image. Is Grady in the middle flexing with the chain and the entire team around him also doing the same pose. Because I already see, man, the influence is crazy. So, yeah, nice win, man. Whoever's idea this was to do the team photo after every win, it was a great idea. Maybe let's just keep this up here because I like looking at the photo. It's just nice. Okay, let's answer some of your questions. As Krem searches through Mamu's social media. If he doesn't have it, by the way, if that story expired, by the way, I think I actually got a screen grab of it. So, Karam, maybe I'll just message you and you could put that up there. But yeah, in any case, yeah, this was a nice win by the team. Hold on, let me send Karam the picture. Hold on. Yo, Karam, I'm gonna email it to you, okay? Crop out the top and the bottom too, man. I'm not trying to have people see my actually, no, this is fine. Just use this. This is fine. Send. Okay, let's get to your questions. What else? What do we have here, man? Why do we own the Hawks, Heat, and Cavs, but we can't beat the Hornets, Nets, and Wizards? Okay, first off, the Raptors have beaten the Hornets and the Nets and the Wizards this season, okay? Just want to be clear. Obviously, the Raptors lost 2 to the Hornets. They lost 1 to the Nets, and they lost 1 to the Wizards. But, like, I know the point. I think the bigger thing is that the Raptors have been unable to solve the Knicks and the Celtics in particular. But, yeah, we have really done a great job this season beating up on the Hawks, the Heat, and the Cavs. The Raptors they're 4-0 against the Cavs? No, they're 3-0 against the Cavs, 3-0 against the Heat. No, 2-0 against the Heat. How many times did they play the Heat? Twice. Yeah, 2-0 against the Heat, and now 3-0 against the Hawks. So that's 8-0 against in that group. I think obviously a lot of it is just matchups, right? You know, like these certain teams, like first off, like I think that yeah, matchups wise, I think we've matched up well with them. Sometimes we've also caught the Cavs with some injuries. The Cavs obviously have been really banged up with injuries recently. So, you know, it's part of that. But it's also, you know, like I said about the Cavs all season, they're kind of a soft-ass team. So Raptors got to bully those teams a little bit. I think it's like the collective lack of physicality. A lot of these teams also really rely on the drives too. Like Miami's offense isn't that different from how the Hawks want to play offense. And the Raptors done a really good job of guarding both of these two teams. You know, they held the Heat basically to like 90 and 80 points. And the Raptors have done a good job against the Hawks. Some of their size, Raptors' size has really been a factor against the Hawks too. It would be great to also have Jakob out there, considering he's the biggest guy on the team. And he is warming up, by the way. Like, it's not like he's not around and stuff. He's still not going through contact in practices, which is you know, certainly that's a barrier that you have to hit first and foremost. But he is getting warm-ups in. I'm watching him warm ups and stuff like that. And whatever, a Jakob Poeltl warm-up, like I told you, like it's mostly push shots and free throws and a couple layups, you know what I mean? Like it's Jakob, you know what I mean? He's not out there practicing fadeaway threes. He's not trying to pretend to be Brandon Ingram or anything, but you know, it's at least reassuring knowing that he's like on the court doing stuff, you know, like it's not like it's so bad that he can't actually move around at all. So, yeah. Oh, yo, Krem, flip that image, man. Put that thing in landscape mode before we put this up here too. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just partially matchups, but in any case, it is nice that we own certain teams. You know, it's been pretty fun. Other questions. Also from late to class. Early question, but what's up with Risache? Is he on bus watch already? I liked him too. Yeah. Zachary Risache. The best thing about Zachary Risache in this game was every time he checked into the game, Herbie Kuhn, the Raptors, you know, legendary in-arena announcer, who's obviously been that announcer for the last, well, their entire existence. Okay, he's one of the very, very few, like literally a handful of people who have been around since day one. But Herbie loves pronouncing the foreign names. You know, by the way, the all-time Herbie name was Dennis Schroeder, which it was incredible. The way he put the umlaut in the Schroeder was insane. Like I can only dream of doing that in interviews with Dennis. But yeah, he loves to like pronounce the hell out of every sort of like European name. And so when Zachary Risache checked into the game, he's like checking into the game for the Atlanta Hawks, Zachary Risache, and it was funny because I'm like, oh, okay, he's doing the usual Herbie thing. But I was sitting beside like a Frenchman, Mike. Shouts to Mike. And yeah, Mike is one of the two like French reporters around the Raptors, and he's actually from France. Like he's not from Quebec. He's from like I believe he's from Lyon. And he's like, man, I hate this, man. I was like, why? It's great that he's pronouncing it. He's like, no, in France we do. He's like, in French, he's like, no, in France we don't even roll the R's. That's you making him sound like he's Spanish or something. So that's the only good thing I can say about Zachary Risacher was the way his name was vigorously pronounced every time he checked into the game. But yeah, like he's just kind of like mid. I don't know. I think when you're the number one overall pick, it comes with like this world of expectations. You're like expected to be this like future all-star, and you're supposed to be like a dominant player, and you're supposed to hit the ground running right away and showcase your talents. And certainly like number one picks, a lot of times they do that. Wemby did that. Cooper Flag's doing that right now. So you can go on and on, but he just happened to be the number one pick in a draft that was pretty mid. Like this is basically France's version of Anthony Bennett, and I don't even think he's like as bad as Anthony Bennett was. I think he actually has maybe a better skill set than that. I mean, he's just basically a 3-and-D guy. Like he's basically, if you stretched Ochai out, like to taller Ochai in a way. Like that might sound like insulting, but like no, he can shoot the ball. Like it's not like he can't shoot, but he doesn't really create his own shot. He's tall, but he's not like, a defender, or he's not really a rebounder either. It's also early in his career, so I'm sure like there'll be more time for him. But yeah, I think he tops out in the league as like a DeAndre Hunter. Actually, Hunter can kind of create a shot a little bit. Like it's just not special, And I think everyone expects number one picks to be special. He's just not special. I know the Hawks have already put him on the trade block. Whatever. That's kind of crazy. But what I mean, yeah, he's mid though. What else? There's nothing wrong with him, man. He's just mid. He's just mid. Ain't nothing wrong with the boy. He's just mid. IQ had quite a good game today. Is he most effective when he isn't forcing it and trying to be the star of the game? I don't really think IQ's ever really trying to be the star of the game. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I don't think that like IQ's like, oh, it's like, IQ doesn't yell like Leroy Jenkins and goes in there and just like tries to do the whole thing himself. Like I don't see that from him. I think that people see IQ obviously being willing to score, but that's like his game. Like he doesn't really do that much else besides like, his ability to score. And, obviously he's hunting threes and stuff. That's what the team wants him to do. So like, obviously he's had some off nights. Even tonight, he wasn't like super efficient in 5 of 13, but I think he made the right plays in the right moments, knocked down some threes as well, which also helps efficiency. But yeah, I thought he had a decent game too. Certainly wasn't one of the stars of the game, but again, most nights you don't even need him to be the star of the game. You just need him to sort of make the right plays, make the right passes, especially on nights when Brandon is cooking like this. You see IQ defer to Brandon all the time. He's like, both the Raptors point guards are like, all right, where's Brandon Ingram? Okay, he's not even that open. Feed him. It's not my problem no more. I'll space over here. Okay, if you got a double team, a triple team, kick it out to me. I'll shoot it. Hopefully I'll make it. But where's Brandon? The where's Brandon offense? Okay. It's okay. He's 1 foot inside the 3-point line. Okay, feed him. Like feed him. Just get him. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. And I'm gonna get out the way. It's not my fault no more. Once I feed Brandon, it's not my fault. That RJ. I mean, I obviously Jamal is probably the guy who does this the most, but IQ does this a ton too. Watch it next time you watch when they're sharing the floor together. But again, like when your wings are scoring like this, RJ, Brandon, Scottie, it's like, okay, IQ just needs to sort of spot out for a couple threes. And then, of course, like, as a point guard, you're also at the top of the floor, so the ball kicks out to you in late shot clock scenarios when guys are stuck, and now you got to create something out of nothing. And he had a nice play where he, like, triple pump faked. He was like, like this with the pump fake, and he eventually got the guy to jump, and he got the foul call. I think it was on Jalen Johnson, too. But, yeah, use small plays like that where you got to, like, create something out of nothing. That's always the burden of being a point guard, is that, like, you're at the top of the floor, then you got to create some bullshit to avoid the shot clock. It's probably usually low percentage, and it kind of kills your percentages. Like Fred had a huge number of these, but like, yeah, IQ was fine today, man. I just want people to like be normal by IQ. Like if he has a good game, we're happy. If he has a bad game, we're mad. If he has a normal game, we don't care. Like, instead of just like, even after good games, people were going after IQ. I'm just like, all right, man, we can't be hitting them every single time. So, if the Raptors can maintain the 4th seed, I think both could make it. Hard to get 2 All-Stars if you aren't at least 4th or better, or have crazy popularity like LeBron and AD on the Lakers. I mean, LeBron and AD were also all-star level players on the Lakers. Like that's, I'm not even gonna just say they were only in for their popularity. It's, it's not exactly like Andrew Wiggins making an all-star game because of a K-pop group. But yeah, like two. Okay, let me look at the Eastern Conference. Hold on, let's look at the Eastern Conference. Okay, so as it stands right now, the Raptors are the 4th seed. They're still a half game over Philadelphia. Philadelphia, by the way, starting to cook, man. Joel Embiid's coming back. Maxi's still him. VJ Edgecombe just hit a game winner against Memphis. I watched that game, actually. Sixers Memphis was actually really, really fun to watch. The Cavs are also starting to bounce back. Somehow they're only a game behind the Raptors now. Damn. I wish the Raptors had more games against Cleveland so they could put more separation between them. But the East is pretty bunched up. Like, again, like there's a lot of decent teams in the Eastern Conference. Like, not a lot of standout teams, but a lot of decent teams. But if I had to guess, it feels like Detroit should really get 2 All-Stars. They've been number 1 in the Eastern Conference the whole time. I think I'll probably go with Cade and Jalen Duren. The Knicks, weirdly enough, the Knicks should also get 2 All-Stars, but I don't really feel great about putting OG in the All-Star game or Cat this season. I mean, if I had to guess, it's probably Brunson and Cat. And so Cade and Jalen Duren, so that's 4. Boston gets 1 All-Star in Jaylen Brown. Feels like if Boston only gets 1, it feels like Toronto should only get 1 as well. But let's put Scottie in there for now. Philadelphia definitely gets Tyrese Maxey in. Cleveland definitely gets Donovan Mitchell in, but they deserve no other All-Stars. Orlando, weirdly enough, like, I mean, Paolo's efficiency sucks, man. The nickname PB No J is fire, by the way. I love the slander names. That's almost as good as Marvin Bagley IV, who is not making the All-Star game for me, by the way. Orlando. Hard to say they have no All-Stars, but Franz has been really banged up, and Paolo's so inefficient. And I don't exactly want to see Desmond Bane in an All-Star context. Miami, I mean, if I had to guess, Bam's not even having like that good of a season, I would say. I mean, maybe you want to stretch and put Norm in there, but again, like Norm, like there's no reason Norm should be in there over Brandon Ingram for me. I don't know. Like no, man, I don't think so. Chicago, I'm not setting an All-Star. Atlanta, I guess Jalen Johnson. Man, Atlanta's 17 and 20. It's not like they need an All-Star, but they'll probably send Jalen Johnson. Milwaukee sends Giannis and nobody else. Charlotte probably doesn't send nobody. Brooklyn, Washington, Indiana. Like, yeah, okay. I mean, honestly, looking at this, like, the Raptors are the second All-Star, which is usually going to be Brandon in this case. I think coaches will definitely vote Scottie over Brandon. I think that second All-Star is on the bubble. Say that much. And especially if there's an injury here or there, it's not out of the possibility. I'd probably put the chances that, like, especially if the Raptors maintain this position, probably like 1/3, 33% chance the Raptors get 2 All-Stars in the game. It's not as far-fetched as it initially seems. You can go down the list yourself and do this exercise. I mean, like, you can't tell me that definitively, like Desmond Bane should be in here over like Brandon, or like Norm should be in over Brandon, or Evan Mobley, or I don't even know who the second star for the Sixers would even be, or like even Con Knipple. You know what I mean? Like the list starts to thin out a little bit. You know what I mean? Like Josh Giddey. Like, I mean, you don't want to see Josh Giddey at an All-Star game, man. Come on, dog. Josh Giddey's 19-9-9 not game in the All-Star game. You want to see Josh Giddey at an All-Star game, man? I'm not trying to see no Josh Giddey at an All-Star game. Get out of here. I don't care what he's putting up, man. This guy's the Eastern Conference Dede Avdia. I don't care what the numbers are. I'm not putting him in my All-Star game. I don't care, man. I don't care. This is my All-Star game. You're not getting in that thing. Speaking of which, I guess we should do a vote eventually. So we'll say that actually a little bit as well. Oh, yeah, by the way, yeah, it is also going to be USA versus World. So it'll be 2 USA teams and then 1 World team. This is why I said, man, it would have really helped if Scottie declared that he's Jamaican, like, prior to the season. That would really help because, as an American, it's harder to, like, make the top 16, let's say, in this instance. But as a Jamaican, it would be really help to make the top 8. But whatever, like, make the game at your own merit. You know what I mean? Also, Adam Silver making things unnecessarily complicated here. But let's take a couple more questions. Yeah, I loved Grady's effort. I mean, there's been no issues with Grady's effort all season. Okay, Grady has been flying around, Grady has been hustling. He's been defending and being more disruptive defensively. I actually saw that tonight in that fourth quarter comeback or not even comeback, but the push was that Grady's like disruptiveness, not even just getting stops, but like actually, stripping the ball, creating turnovers. Those are huge events, And yeah, Grady's effort has been there. It's just really him being able to make the shot and find the confidence. Even today when he like hit a turnaround jumper, I know it didn't go in, but I was like, you know what? I'm liking this because it feels like Grady feels confident. You don't shoot a turnaround jumper if you're not confident. And it wasn't even like late shot clock. Well, it was late shot clock, but it wasn't like end of shot clock. Like I gotta beat the buzzer. He just shot that shot because he's like, this feels comfortable for me to like turn over my right shoulder and fade away on the baseline. It was like, because he was in the rhythm, he was feeling good, and he was hustling, and he's been playing hard as hell, and he runs fast as hell in transition. Like he's not useless, okay? Like he's had some tough games, and I do worry, especially for the young guys, like what their confidence is like. And I just hope that like again Grady can recapture some of what he did at the start of last season, because you can say what you want about like the season he's had so far versus like some of the other guys like Battle, Jacoby, even Ochai's in the same conversation with. None of those guys had a stretch like the way Grady started last season, man. Go back and watch some of those highlights. I promise you, it's very impressive. Like that, it's not quite a BI highlight reel, but it's up there, man. Give CMB 25 minutes every night. I think that's the goal. CMB's sort of picked up like a small, like little knick-knack injuries over the course of the season. So he's had at least like 3 or 4 different reasons why he's missed time. I mean, nothing serious, obviously, which is good. But yeah, when he's available, he's got to play. And I think honestly, Darko really likes him too. Even when CMB doesn't make a lot of baskets, he's still a big factor. By the way, today, one of the best plays of the game was, so Brandon was hot, right? Brandon was super hot. So the Hawks were really intent on, trying to take away Brandon. So Brandon gets the pass from Mamu. Mamu comes to set the screen. Brandon, goes into this pick and roll, and he sees 2 defenders already converging on him. Okay. So smartly, he slips it before Mamu even sets the screen. He slips it right back to Mamu. Mamu's now playing in space, attacks the gap, gets in the middle of the floor, dumps it off to CMB down low. CMB draws a rotation underneath the basket, and the Hawks are trying to deny CMB's layup. And CMB, as soon as he catches it under the rim, instantly whips it out opposite corner to Jamal Shed. Jamal has all day to shoot the 3, knocks it down. Like, that's beautiful, like ball movement just in general, but even just instincts, man. The CMB plays the game with great instincts. He's got to work on a lot of things. So something that Darko talked about before the game was like, CMB also has to work on his finishing and his outside shooting and just even avoiding foul trouble. There's obviously lots of things. He's a rookie. Like, there's lots of things to improve on, but the baseline already is so high. His game feel is so high, and of course his physicality puts him into a lot of games. And of course, tonight it wasn't like the standout game. Like, I don't even think I talked about CMB much in the recap portion, but I thought he did a really good job in the starting lineup. And I think he could do a better job, actually, in the next matchup. I'm curious to see if he defends Jalen Johnson a little bit better. Johnson felt like he got him a couple times, catching him off guard in rotation. I know CMB is like very active help defender. He's always help minded, and so he's like looking to slide over and strip the ball and like slap at it or whatever. But it's harder to do that when the man you're covering is such a threat like Jalen Johnson. Sometimes you just got to stay at home a little bit too. But yeah, I mean, he was sick, man. Shouts to CMB. Happily give him 25 minutes a night, no problem. Trey was talking in Scottie's ear at half. He wants to play here, maybe? Question mark. I'm not trying to be rude. I mean, Trae Young's a very good player, slander aside, but I do think that like he's in need of a change of scenery. The way he's been playing this season kind of feels like what the year Brandon had last year, where like the team's clearly not going to extend you, and they've had a long time with you. You hit a clear, defined ceiling, and they want to move on to a newer, shinier, younger thing. Obviously, they want to go in this Jalen Johnson direction, and so like and of course the team has lost a lot of games with Trey this year. It's been kind of funny to see every time Trey's in the game, the Hawks lose. I think they've lost 8 straight games with Trey, but regardless, like. I think Trey's still a very talented player. He can certainly still be a very good player elsewhere. I just don't know if that's Toronto. I don't think that like I can see the case in the sense that his pick and roll skills are excellent. He might be the best pick and roll player that's ever played for the Raptors if the Raptors got Trae Young. And that's with a lot of love and respect to Kyle Lowry, but Trae Young's a better pick and roll player than Kyle Lowry. which is again saying a lot. His passing, his ability to shoot and score, even draw fouls, he would just make things a lot easier for a lot of guys on the team offensively. But I do think that, like, especially considering how much Darko has put the emphasis on improving the defense, and he always talks about it, defense starts at the point of attack. You know, offense starts at the point of attack against Trae Young, and teams will just be isolating against Trae Young over and over and over again. I think it'll really be important for Trae Young to play with centers too. You see that his effectiveness isn't the same when he's only playing with wings out there. And yeah, so, I mean, if it happens, I'm not going to be ungrateful. I can understand why the Raptors would trade for Trae Young. He's such a great playmaker, but it's certainly not my pick. It's not my favorite. And honestly, a bit of a nasty watch. I don't really like watching grifters, but yeah, that's my take on it. I know people are eager to improve on IQ. Trae is a better player than IQ, but can I just go elsewhere, please? Please? I don't know. I don't want to live and die with IQ like that. By the way, credit to the team too. RJ, this comment here. RJ stabilizes the team. When he was out, we used to look for Scottie and BI to produce big, but with RJ back, it does not even matter if any of them has a bad game. He balances out everything. Here's the thing. Scottie and Brandon are going to draw lots of double teams all the time. Teams are going to orient their entire systems around how we're going to stop these guys. Brandon, from the mid-range, Scottie from in transition around the basket. Like, they're going to commit a lot of resources to this. That's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing when you have multiple players who are occupying multiple defenders. That means a lot of your guys are open. That's why I kept saying, it was like, what a travesty that the Raptors' backup shooting guards just couldn't convert on the easiest shots out there, because they're getting easy shots. And RJ comes in the game and he's like, these are easy shots. Watch me cash them in for points. Like, it's the balance. Okay, you got to pick your poison now. Before, teams are like, yep, Scottie, Brandon, I'm not going to let you do anything. I've never seen a guy double teamed as much in the mid-range as Brandon has been, okay? Usually teams today are like, okay, we'll give you the mid-range. We'll give you the mid-range. That's like the defensive principle a lot of times is we'll give you the mid-range. And this time, they were like, no, we're not going to give Brandon anything, but especially not the mid-range. We'll send a second defender at him in the mid-range, right? But, of course, that leads to open shots elsewhere, but guys weren't making them. And, of course, when they don't make them, now Scottie and Brandon feel more of a pressure to keep shooting. Now, granted, Brandon is more of a keep shooting guy, and Scottie's going to keep sharing no matter what. But regardless, it wasn't leading to good outcomes. The Raptors, again, were 30th in offense when RJ was out because there was no pick your poison. It was just pick to stop the best players. Now you got to pick your poison because RJ comes in there, like IQ knows how to play with him. Scottie knows how to play with him. Brandon knows how to play with him. He's just converting. And a lot of these are just open threes. Like, you can't hide a weak defender on a guy anymore because RJ can just take him to the basket or shoot over them. He did a great job tonight. And even against the best defenders, like he had Dyson Daniels on him a couple possessions, sat his ass down, man. That's impressive. That's really impressive. And that's from your third option. Not a lot of third options are able to sit down Dyson Daniels one-on-one. Like, and that's what RJ does. So yeah, appreciate RJ a ton. Again, like I said in previous episodes, no RJ, no buckets. Yes, RJ, yes, buckets, man. We got a couple buckets. Oh, who we got here? Hey, I went to the game and bumped into Will. Great to see you, Will. Appreciate you. I don't know based on your handle, what your name is, considering it's B4TP3N9UIN4. But yeah, it's always great to meet the listeners of the show at the arena. Yeah, I'm happy to say it happens a lot, and it's always very humbling when that happens, but I appreciate the whole hello and welcome gang out there as well. What's up going on, man? Why does Jacoby seem to struggle against fast-paced teams? I don't know about that. He's not an improvisational player. It's weird. Like, I do hear you in the sense that, like, when the game slows down and, it gets really gritty and then, Jacoby's able to step up. Like, I don't feel like he's able to play at a fast pace. Part of that is just he's more of like a set shot maker. Like, he's got to be a catch and shoot guy. He's not like a run to the spot and then just shoot with some momentum. Like, in terms of movement shooting, Grady's even better at it. Although this year percentages don't look at him. But yeah, the other part is just when you don't have a great handle, it's hard for you to like keep the momentum of the play going. Like, no one would say RJ has like a standout handle or whatever, right? But like when you swing the ball to RJ has options. What the handle does is give you options. And so when it's Jacoby or Grady, it's like, if I don't shoot this three and I don't feel great about shooting this three, I'm not going to be a threat to put it on the floor and make a play for someone else. RJ, it's like, he can shoot the three, But he can put it on the deck, he can drive it, he can get to a certain spot, and then there's more options. He might pass, he might shoot a floater, he might try to go all the way in and draw the foul. He might, he might kick it out. Like there's lots more options, and I think with a fast-paced game, that first initial action may be stopped with like a hard closeout or whatever, but guys are so tired and the rotations are a little harder too when they're playing faster. And you just need to be able to like, basically adapt and read. I think they'll get better with experience and time too. But I mean, yeah. Having a handle is super underrated. I don't know what to say. And I think a handle is one of those things people won't talk about, but you should be able to develop a handle. Like, I remember how DeMar DeRozan, for example, came into the league, wasn't a great ball handler. And you look at him now, I mean, he's got every move in the book, right? And, he's able to do a whole bunch of crossovers, like different dribble moves. Of course, it helps that he can dunk on guys, and he was super athletic when he was young. But, DeMar is a living example of, what you could improve. You know what I mean? The jumper to get to the point where it was, the footwork, the handle. Footwork is also, akin to the handle. People kind of blend footwork in with the handle. I don't feel like a great handle with no footwork is not useful. Just I guess footwork with no handle is useful in the sense that you can still play in the post. But in any case, having both of those things are pretty huge. And if you look at RJ, he has good footwork in addition to the handle as well. Brandon has a great handle and great footwork, but still a lot of these rookies, or these rookies and sophomores, they don't have a handle or footwork. Jacoby's footwork is okay. He's got pump fakes. But yeah, just you gotta keep growing the game. That's okay. Just gotta keep growing, as a game. Looks like Ochai's pushed out the rotation with CMB healthy. Yeah, I mean, I don't really see. I mean, Ochai's there because he was filling in for RJ, right? But and look, he had the opportunity, right? You can't say that I'm gonna be sour. I mean, I don't think Ochai is the type of guy to be nasty at all. But you can't really say oh man, I didn't get a chance. All you did was get chances. You know what I mean? Raptors were starving for shooting guards. Every shooting guard was either injured or struggling, and he couldn't do anything with it. So that's it. You don't get infinite shots. What else, man? BI's back to the basket game is far better than a DeRozan or even Kawhi. Okay. Hold on. Is this true, chat? Is this true that Brandon Ingram's back to the basket game is better than DeMar or Kawhi? BI's back to the basket game is really nice. Because he's basically looking to he's dribbling and then he's faking over one shoulder, faking on the other shoulder, seeing how the defender is going to react, feeling where they're going to be, and then in the turnaround, he's able to fade over guys. But I don't know, man. I don't know. DeMar definitely had great up fakes, and then he pump faked guys out of their shoes, and then drew a lot more fouls. I mean, you would say that in terms of making the shot, I will go with Brandon over DeMar, but in terms of the overall efficiency, DeMar draws so much fouls out of those that he might be able to have more efficient sort of overall outcomes, point per possession wise. And then Kawhi just has the strength to sort of I mean, one of the enduring images, hold on, there's one where Kawhi was posting up and then Paul George, hold on. Leonard posting up Paul George. And he's just looking at George yo, who the hell is this? And then he just spun around him and scored. Yeah. How do I post it? Okay. Can I show you guys this? This is technically a highlight, I guess. Whatever. But yeah, there's a picture of Kawhi just posting up Paul George. This is during his teams with the Raptors, and then just turning around and just shooting the jumper over Paul George. This is, by the way, when Paul George was at the peak of his powers. He was starting MVP voting that season. I don't know. I put Kawhi over both of these guys. I'm sorry. Well, Brandon's. Let's say it goes Kawhi number 1, BI number 2, and then DeRozan number 3. Why not a better shooter than BI? Yo, what? Are you serious? No, man. No, come on, guys. What, are we forgetting about Kawhi Leonard? No, guys, come on. Are we serious? No. Come on. Look at Kawhi's numbers right now. I don't think... Look, Kawhi is not the most conventional shooter, let's just say. But Kawhi Leonard is an amazing shooter. I don't even know... I can't even believe I'm even saying this right now, man. Yeah, Kawhi in 2019, we're comparing this guy to MJ. And not without cause, by the way. With real cause. Even Kawhi this season, Kawhi's averaging 28 points per game, shooting 50% from the field and 38% from 3. He's been averaging 40 for the last week and a half. Dog, come on, man. I can never be ungrateful to Kawhi, man. I can never be ungrateful to Kawhi. That's one man I could literally never be ungrateful to. What else? Oh yeah, we have a couple of Karem oriented questions. Karem, I mean, feel free to pop on if you want to, but realistically, if you don't have headphones, you might just have the signal up or down with your thumbs. Okay, your reaction to this, Malachi Flynn. Malachi Flynn is now Turkish. Yeah, so Malachi Flynn. Oh yeah, he got thumbs up. Huge thumbs up for Malachi Flynn as Turkish. So I believe he's been playing in Turkey for the last season or so, and Turkey has like a long-standing tradition of producing like really good bigs. You know, like obviously Şengün right now, but you even take it back to like, you know, Enes Kanter or Omer Ashik. I mean, not really good, but like pretty good bigs. You know what I mean? Like pretty good bigs. Mehmet Okur, of course. Even Hito Turkoglu, he wasn't a big, you know, but he was like 6'10". You know what I mean? That's pretty big. Issue with Turkey is like they don't really have good guards. You know, they even have Cedi Osman right now. That's a wing. You know, so they've been trying out different naturalized guards to play for them in the national team. Shane Larkin has been that guy for them recently because he's been playing a lot in Turkey, and so yeah, I mean this is the thing. I mean, Europeans produce better bigs, or Europe produces better bigs, and America produces way better guards, and so yeah, in the true sense of globalization, you know, a lot of these European teams are just naturalizing a whole bunch of American guards who, you know, quite frankly, aren't going to make anything close to the American national team. Like, but you know, you look at Lorenzo Brown with Spain. You look at what even Slovenia. I think they naturalized some guards too. But yeah, like Turkey does this again with Malachi Flynn. It's kind of funny thinking about Malachi Flynn as Turkish. I feel like, okay, well, you know what? My only thing, I don't care about the nationalized thing because you know, it's totally cool with me. I mean, who am I going to say anything? I was freaking born in China, okay, and I hold a Canadian passport now. So like, you know, that's just the way the world works. Like, I'm not against it, but I do think you should change your name. Like, you know, like I'm like, all right, I'm William now, okay. I had to put the Chinese name aside for now. Like, I'm William now, okay? So if Malachi Flynn becomes Turkish, like I feel like he should adopt a Turkish name. Karam, please give him a Turkish name in the chat, okay? Give Malachi Flynn a Turkish name in the chat, and we can bring that to air. In the meantime, we also have a question: why have we taken Karam to dim sum? We have not taken him to dim sum, but we have taken him to Hongsheng. This is where we take all our favorites. You know what I mean? Actually, if you guys ever want to go to Hongsheng, just please mention me and Alex's names. It will be at least good for one free drink. I promise you. Salute to the gang of Hongsheng. But yeah, we have taken Krem to Hongsheng. I would argue that's better than taking him to sorry, I'm just thinking about these Turkish names. Yo, what do you think of Malik Flynn, man? Can he be Malik Flynn now? Yo, Malik Flynn will be fine. Come on, man. You can't just join the Turkish team. You gotta join the whole nation, man. He's Malik now. He's Malik. All right, no more Malachi. He's Malik. Abdul Aziz Flynn. Yo, man. We didn't just change his nationality, man. He's officially Muslim now too. Yeah. That's the thing. You know, you gotta, you know. You can't just choose to join the country. You got to change your name too, man. I'm in favor of this from a basketball context. Ever been to Emerald Dim Sum in Saga? Goated. Yeah, it's one of the very few places still that still have the ladies pushing the carts around. You know what I mean? By the way, those ladies, man, they're some of the best salespeople on earth. Okay, I'll tell you that much. These are just like straight Chinese aunties who yell at you, like they bark at you. Okay, they just straight up bark at you in Cantonese. First off, you know, I don't even speak Cantonese, so they're like, they just come around and they just start barking in Cantonese. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I could see it. You say no, and she's like, oh, you mean yes, and then she like puts a stamp on your card. I'm like, yo, you gotta like physically like withdraw that stamp because I swear they'd be scamming you to try to put that last choice sum on your plate, man. No, okay. I need to know what no is. I need to know what no is in Cantonese, okay? But no, okay? Well, booyah, man. No, seriously, they legit just push any food on you. It's incredible. And also one time I tried to big bro my dad. Well, not big bro, my dad. I would never do that, but it was like, all right, I did the sneaky move where it's like, okay, I'm gonna pretend to use the washroom towards the end of dinner, but then I'm gonna secretly pay for the meal, because I was like working at that time. My whole family was out. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna swipe it for my pops. I pay for that thing, man. Not that was not a light bill. It was like at least 2 bills. I was like, damn. Okay. You know what? Dad, you got the next one, okay? Because he probably got the last 10 before that, but I took one and that was enough for me, man. 2 bills is a lot. Okay, 2 bills is a lot for dinner. Then again, we had to have like 7 people eating, so that's not terrible, but yeah, it's not bad. Malik Elijah Flynn. No, Malik Allah Flynn. Oh, we're making him progressively more and more Turkish as the episode goes on. Let's sneak an umlaut into his name, man. Let's put an umlaut somewhere. Hey, we're gonna take a couple more questions, and we're actually gonna show you, by the way, Mamu's adventurous trip to the top of the CN Tower. But you know what? What would be a chiller choice than going up the whole entire CN Tower and standing on the outside of the damn tower, which is just absurd, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it's making the chill choice with Coors Light. Listen, guys and girls, and everybody listen to this program, okay? Very inclusive on this program. Basketball can be pretty stressful. You watch this game, you watch that second, third quarter, Atlanta has 77 points. You're like, dog, what's going on? Like, can we get some stops? You know what I mean? And you're like, oh man, 1 point game going to the fourth quarter. Like, I don't know if my heart can take it. Like, it's been very stressful watching some of these games recently. Raptors coming down to the wire every game, basically. I'm just telling you, this is my advice. At halftime, you take the Coors Light, you put it in the fridge. Because by the time the fourth quarter comes around, you're going to go into that fridge, you're going to pull the Coors Light. The blue mountain is going to turn on, and it's going to signal that the Coors Light itself is going to be as frosty and as refreshing as the Rockies themselves. So when the game heats up, why not make the chill choice by grabbing a crisp, refreshing Coors Light? Find Coors Light near you. Visit CoorsLightShop.ca. Celebrate responsibly, and of course, you must be of legal drinking age as you are celebrating these Coors Lights. By the way, speaking of the chill choice, all right, this ain't chill at all. Oh, sorry, not this. This is super chill. Just make the chill choice, okay? Go flex with your friends. This is not chill at all, okay? Even just looking at this thing makes me stressed, man. Look at this. Okay, so this is Mamu yesterday on his day off. The Raptors obviously weren't playing. They had practice, so I don't know why Mamu did this. They might have. Okay, so if I'm imagining Mamu's day from yesterday, Raptors practice around noon. They probably start at 10 and go to like 1. And then Mamu's like, okay, now I'm going to go to the CN Tower and stand outside. He's connected on cables. This is just like, this is a lot of trust, man. I mean, I know you're 100% safe. You got the harnesses. Everything's fine. And it's an incredible photo. But man, to do this, it was like -10 outside yesterday. It's such a sick photo. I love people actually taking in the cities that they're in. Mamu, again, fun-loving dude. Yeah, like he's a chill guy. He makes a chill choice. But man, this is not the chill choice. Okay, to stand on the edge walk and be outside. But salute to Mamu, man. Really cool dude. I'm actually really hoping to interview Mamu, actually. So put that request in. By the way, if you look closely over his right shoulder, you will see the Scotiabank Arena with the red S in between those 2 towers there. So that is his workplace. But yeah, Mamu, man. Damn. That's pretty cool. Also, that I believe that is that like diagonal kind of like S-shaped intercontinental. I think that's what Drake meant by "I do not stay at the Intercontinental." Is that one in particular? That little stupid S one that's on front. Salute to you if you stayed at the Intercontinental. Someone said, I see Alex's condo. Do not dox Alex, okay? But I do believe I also see Alex's condo in this stretch as well. So, yeah, Mamu. There goes that, man. No, it's cool, man. I like seeing people like enjoy like what Toronto has to offer. You know what I mean? This is one of the most unique experiences in the world to be able to like stand outside 300 meters up and just have your life hanging in the balance, literally. So, let's take a couple more questions before we go. That shit looks AI. Yo, man, we're really gonna have like a world before AI and world after AI, man. This is terrifying, man. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. People saying generational wealth of Alex. I mean, this man used to work on he used to work as an accountant, right? So he has to go to, the financial district for his job. So he just lived near work. That's all. I think a couple more questions. Okay. A little bit of negativity. I don't mind that. I don't care. Oche walked away from the best shooter for no reason and got benched for the game. Good riddance. I mean, that's what I mean. I salute Darko because the last 2 games when he's benched him, it's because of defensive mistakes. And again, you can maybe live with defense. Like if Brandon Ingram makes a defensive mistake, you're like, okay, Brandon, lock in. But like ultimately, you're like, what am I gonna do? Take him off the floor? No. When you're Ocha and you're only in there for defense, you better like, if guys score, it's because you played great defense and they played better offense. And sometimes he's not even in the game, like awareness wise. So yeah, you gotta take him out, man. Another one, Battle being treated like Boucher. Darko ain't as nice as y'all pretend. I mean, I keep telling you guys too that what Darko says to the media is not exactly what he says to the players. But yeah, I do feel a little bit bad for Battle, but Raptors also do have a ton of shooting guards, so it's not just Darko. It's also, I think, management for stocking so many shooting guards. I think he could play on a lot of other teams in the league, by the way. So, but I never see any frustration from Battle. You know what I mean? Like he never comes in the game and he's like dogging it or whatever. And even around, being around the team for warm-ups and practices and stuff like that, like he seems fine. He seems like a good dude. He's always just in the pictures flexing. So. And then last one before we get to wrap up, how do you see this team in the playoffs, and what rotations based on the team right now is optimal? Will RJ play a big role come April? Yeah, if RJ's still on the team come April, and I hope he is, he would play a huge part. What are you talking about, man? I think, I mean, if I had to, man, I would love for them to trim it down to like a 9-man rotation and then ultimately cut it to 8. And assuming everyone's healthy, the starting 5 is the starting 5. So obviously, Yak, Scottie, Brandon, RJ, IQ. And then I'm trusting CMB off the bench. I'm trusting Mamu off the bench. And I'm trusting Jamal. And I'm going to give Jacoby the chance to be the 9th man. That's my rotation for the playoffs, if we get there and if we're healthy. I would feel a lot more comfortable if the Raptors were able to put in one more veteran, because I don't really want to trust one rookie and 2 sophomores come playoff time. So if they can get like a really reliable backup 2 guard who can like a backup combo, like a Colin Sexton. If they got Colin Sexton, for example, you'd be much more reliable with that. I wouldn't mind if they got a little bit of true size as well, considering just matchups wise. If Yak gets in foul trouble, then you don't have no more 7-footers. But yeah, it's not terrible. Like I don't really see the Raptors as currently built to like win more than at most 1 round. But yeah, not bad. We need an Andrew Nembhard from Aurora. Yo, I would love Andrew Nembhard. Are you kidding me? Man, come to Toronto. Every time I interview Andrew, I'm telling him to come to Toronto, man. You know what I mean? Every time I see him for the interviews that we do in the offseason, I'm telling him to come to Toronto, man. I think I asked him outright, you want to come to Toronto? So, yeah. All right. Well, those are the questions. Appreciate you guys. Let's wrap up with the stars and get out of here. 3 stars from tonight's performance, plus the Gerald Henderson Award in this Raptors win over the Atlanta Hawks. First star, that is going to go. Man, a lot of good picks here. But Brandon Ingram, man. Brandon Ingram's buckets were insane. I'm honestly. And he also had 2 steals, 2 blocks to go along with his 29 points, but 11 of 15 shooting. Only hit 1 3, 6 of 6 from the foul line. Just like incredible stuff. Just incredible mastery of scoring. And honestly, just him sunning his former rookies. You know what I mean? Like Dyson Daniels, like, you were my rookie. I'm gonna make you feel like a rookie with the way I'm gonna score over you. Second star, man, I'm gonna go with Mamu. Mamu was huge, man. Mamu gets the chain. Mamu gets 13 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, a steal, 3 blocks, 5 of 10 from the field. Only 1 of 5 from 3. We'll have to see him find his rhythm from 3 again. But Mamu was awesome. Played 32 minutes off the bench. That's how you know that Darko really, really enjoyed Mamu's performance. And then your third star, with apologies to Scottie Barnes, but RJ Barrett scoring the season high 29 points on 11 of 19 shooting. Honestly, a lot of that was just him missing some shots early on, but he got it going. He knocked down 4 threes as well. 4 rebounds, an assist, a steal. Just finished a lot of plays and really balanced out the attack from, obviously teams are going to focus on Brandon and Scottie, but then when RJ gets left open, he's punishing guys too. So all of a sudden, life feels good and feels really balanced. Of course, part of it is also playing Atlanta. Atlanta's not a good defense, right? But, so it's all pretty good. Those are your 3 stars. Your Gerald Henderson Award is going to go to... I was gonna give it to Vit Krejci because he really was with the knockdown threes, but that's kind of what he's been doing for them all year. Yeah, okay, I'll give it. Okay, and part of me wanted to give it to Mohamed Gay as well, but I'm gonna give it to Keaton Wallace. Yeah, fake Case and Wallace was able to go out there and knock down some threes. Some of those are like late shot clock scenarios too. Kind of bailed out the team's offense. Don't look at the -13. He was just on the floor as the Raptors made that big push, but yeah, Keaton Wallace he was solid for the Hawks tonight off the bench. So. That's it. Thanks everyone for listening. Raptors play the Hawks again on Monday night. I think we'll be back Monday to do another episode, and we'll look at some of the stuff. And I want to talk about some of these recent Scottie comments too, actually, because I thought it was kind of interesting to see him talk about some of these things. I'll just give you a sneak peek, but yeah, Scottie talking about how much he loves having Yak out there, and basically how much he loves playing with centers. He also was talking about sort of not the surprise of not being voted to top 20 in the All-Star voting in the first round of votes. He said, quote, "I don't really think I was surprised. It is what it is. I'm just trying to win basketball games at the end of the year. When all defense comes out, I think I'll be more worried about that." I like that. That's a really mature answer, and I do believe him in that, in the sense that he has really been stepping up his defense across the board. He's always been really good defensively, but this year he's been exceptional. And then Scottie Barnes' New Year's resolution, quote, "Win some more basketball games. Win some games that we should win. That's the goal." And you know what? The maturity from Scottie, the point of him, being focused on some of this stuff, I like a lot of this. That's what I want to hear from the leader of the team. So we'll talk about that a little bit more on Monday. But for now, we've gone long enough. I appreciate you guys. Happy New Year, everybody. Leave some likes on the chat, please, if you can. Leave some reviews. You know what I mean? I know we've been hammering out the YouTube streams and that that's where I'm trying to push people to, but at the same time I know how much of a huge podcast audience we got too, and I want you guys to just leave a nice little review, especially if you listen on Apple. Drop a nice little review. Just write wedge salad 5 stars. Like it's easy. It's easy. So big dubs in the chat for Karem. And yeah, vote for Scottie and Bi, man. Vote Scottie and Bi, man. They were awesome tonight. Put your votes in for them once every hour. And don't you dare vote anyone else, all right? Just only vote Raptors in. Put in an impartial ballot with just Scottie and Brandon and whoever else, RJ and Mamu. And, just pick the 5 best Raptors every game, fill out a ballot, throw that in there, all right? So, appreciate you guys. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend.